Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another Rage video, where tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I bring all of you back your master of reality, your proverbial eviscerator, your ambient educator and ambient ambassador, and also argulent argonautal analyst. That's called alliteration, ladies and gentlemen. It gives English nerds a hard on. In fact, I'm having one right now. So, because of how much I really enjoyed 10 Ton Hammer the last time, I decided I'll go one further. And, well, to be honest, as this is a part of my, the way things are run anyway, is that we're going to go through, basically what we did, this is like the new format I'm doing now. We just go through every single song on an album and we just release them day after day. So you'll forgive me for the next 13 days. If you're a fan of Machine Head, you're going to get an absolute kick out of these next just under 2 weeks. If you're not a fan of Machine Head, well, don't worry, there is always plenty of stuff on this channel to keep you occupied in the meantime. Also, if you do want to actually request for any specific song or an album, make sure to follow me on my Patreon, and you can get all sorts of goodies on there. I'll make sure I will see you all right. Now, with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I loved how brutal and kind of a bit of a badass song how 10 Ton Hammer was, and I brought up how it reminded me a lot of the sort of stuff that came a little bit afterwards, like that capitalized on nu metal, like Limp Bizkit, Shadows Fall, Saliva, Disturbed, 3 Days Grace, and dozens more. And with maybe the exception of Limp Bizkit, I'm probably going to have to talk about that one day. It's probably going to have to be Chocolate Starfish, the more I think about it. Machine Head certainly seems to be the one that seems to stand out in my opinion, because they could do, I think it's just because they were one of the first groups to really, I think, to do this. I would have to really go back as to whether or not, what was the first real examples of nu metal. Whether it was Machine Head or maybe Papa Roach or stuff like that. There's going to be a bit of a pretty good discussion about that when the time comes. But also, I think that's just the way the Machine Head write. It's their songs sort of match the tone spectacularly. They're not pretty. They're just very straightforward fights more than anything. So we'll see if this trend continues in Take My Scars. So, actually, it may be Madball as well. You could probably throw Madball in there as well, the more I think about it. If you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, links will all be in the description down below. Let's begin. Take My Scars in 3, 2, 1, and... Okay, first thing we're going to do that again. That I don't care if it's literally almost a quarter of the whole song. You know what? We're doing it. I'll be forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, but when I first discovered rock and metal music, just over 10 years ago, this is one of the first things I was drawn towards. And you'll forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, but this like has a very strange. It resonates with me, probably because I'm now old enough to actually grow a goatee beard. Maybe it's because I'm actually old enough to actually wear like a leather jacket and feel like I'm like in my own. This song, for some reason, makes me feel like I'm in my own skin. Strange as that may sound, and strange as how into a lot of my other videos I get, this one has like a. If this song was an organ, it would be a heart. There's a liveliness to this song that I say that quite a lot. A number of songs are also very lively, but this one feels very much alive. That's the best way I can put it, anyway. So let's do that again. That was just it. That was what it. Okay. I think this also might be my first real taste into rap metal while we're at it, because that was one of the most like chaotic, but one of the most. It's okay. I would say, personally, ladies and gentlemen, from my opinion, is that it's kind of like. I think the idea for the song is that it's the devil trying to illustrate that, you know what, he's gonna like move on to find other ways to target people. I think let me see if I've got this right. It's been around for 1,000 years. It'll be here for plenty more. It is the face hidden in disgrace that has become now an open sore. It is a false messiah. It is a face of pain, the bringer of the bittersweet, the heretic insane. Take my scars through hands of God. I found a better way to break the walls. I personally think it is meant to be about the idea of some evil that's like taken a form, and all of a sudden it's found new ways to flourish, but it's also kind of like suitably disgusted, strangely enough. And I think maybe you could argue that's what's turned it so unbelievably bitter and insane, is that it's the devil is just he is disgusted that he has to almost like wallow in all this filth. And especially when you hear it in the outro, blood and concrete, piss and wine, whose whores that fuck to feel divine. They'll clean their needles in their shrine in ignorance. It's bliss you find. He doesn't find bliss in this. He finds like ignorance and just like torment. Fucking open up your eyes. You gotta open up your eyes. Why can't you fucking open up your eyes? It's literally like the devil is trying to tell us, you know what? Take my scars, take these reminders, these memories away from me. You know what? I found a new way to like relish, but he doesn't really relish in anything. He detests this world he's now a part of. But then again, that's the devil. I think he's there to do the devil's work. That's what I'm getting out of this anyway. Or it could be the idea of like the feeling of like rage or outrage that like boils over in some people when they see the state of the world. Maybe it's possibly trying to be a bit like that. It certainly would fit in with the audio, with the song's incredible production, because if there's one thing I'm literally gathered almost immediately to Machine Head, the thing that has really drawn me in is that both this and 10 Ton Hammer, when you strip away the lyrics, they are orchestrated perfectly. They set out exactly what they're supposed to do, and you get exactly that. Now, some people might say that it's a little bit like, when it does stuff like that, it's extremely like, some people might say it's bordering on like, you know, being very straightforward, and there's almost like no real surprises to it. I say, you know what? Even listening to the first minute for the second time, I still felt like I'd been drawn to it, like, because I think that's part of the whole point, is that they wanted to bring ideas or aspects so close to the real world that the only thing we can think about doing is literally make it sound as insane and as chaotic and as wild as possible. It's like almost hopping back to the very beginnings of thrash metal and remember how insane and how chaotic and twisted stuff like Hit the Lights were. And remember, that was written by Metallica when they were still teenagers. And remember, and because this isn't 1982 any longer, this is 1997. This is 15 years later. And just look at how the difference, strange. I think it's like it's strange just the way metal seems to have come in 15 years. And I'm choosing Metallica and Machine Head specifically because I feel like that's the most clear comparison I think I could make. In fact, it probably even makes even more sense than when you compare Kill 'Em All to Reload, which I think it might have been either that or Load, which came out at the same time. Because I know Load came out in 96, and I think Reload was either 97 or 98. They probably had to wipe the semen off the fire, if you know what I mean. I mean, just going through some of these comments as well seem to reflect this sentiment fantastic. One of my favorite tracks off this masterpiece, legendary album for me, bought this at Record Express in the 90s, back when music was raw and beautiful. I mean, I'm not surprised, you know, you know what I'm saying? What I'm like, oh my God, you know what? I used to think to myself, you know what? Maybe trying to do you know what? I'm actually not really that surprised this was in California as well. I don't know necessarily if that's where Machine Head were based, but I know this was done for Roadrunner Records, which I think was based in California, I should say. I would have to like double check that. But strangely enough, you know what? I used to think that maybe doing a 13-song album, because I'm pretty sure the majority of songs on here are around about the same length, either about 4 minutes or stuff like that. However, if there are anything like 10 Ton Hammer and Take My Scars, I am not going to run out of time, and I'm not going to run out of things to enjoy, because believe me when I say this, ladies and gentlemen, the things I say about like I'm trying to be as like sincere and honest as possible, because trust me when I say, ladies and gentlemen, there is something undeniably brilliant about Machine Head. And I know it's there, mostly because they are unabashedly themselves, and I can't deny them for doing that. But some of them, the music, man, is absolute. It's, you know what? Forget my alliteration metaphor from earlier. This is the sort of thing that drives, you know, metal fans like wild in their pants, because this is the sort of stuff we are dying for. So anyway, I hope all of you guys have enjoyed this reaction video. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Know what you guys thought of Take My Scars for yourselves, and I look forward to all of you guys again in the next video. Take care. Bye bye for now.